Orleans, Alexandria.
One of the top plays of the day yesterday was Max Johnson. Max Johnson kept the ball around the right end and went for about 80. Max is about 6'5", but he's got unbelievable speed and a great athlete.
We have heard a ton about this freshman quarterback class, the big arm and big body of TJ Finley, the athleticism and size of Max Johnson. That was Coach Ed Ogeron here on his regular Tuesday morning stop, talking about some of the plays that stood out in day one. And one was Max Johnson on a quarterback keeper going 80 as he's opening up his college career with the LSU Tigers. His dad, Brad Johnson, is a decorated player and veteran of the NFL. He spent 17 seasons in the league playing for teams like the Vikings, the Redskins, the Cowboys. He won a Super Bowl championship in 2001 with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and now he's a quarterback's coach at a local Athens high school where his second son, Jake Johnson, is one of the top tight ends in the country. And Brad is back with us here on Off the Bench on ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, and Alexandria. Coach, always good to catch up with you. Good morning.
Doing great. I appreciate you having me on your show. That was a long resume you gave me.
Yes, sir. Well, you're very decorated, so we appreciate you stopping by. You heard Ogeron talking about Max. Have you talked to Max about some of the plays that he's made or some of the early impressions that he's had on fall camp?
I spend most of my time talking to Max about getting his parking sticker for school and getting him signed up for classes. So, I mean, we're dealing with other stuff here, you know.
Right.
But, no, Max, you know, he feels like he's excited about football and finally get to, you know, practice and play and all those kind of things. And he's just, you know, thankful for every opportunity he gets and goes out there and tries to make plays and be consistent with it. And obviously he had a big play the other day. He's sneaky athletic and kind of married up on that one. I was never – no one ever said I was fast, but my wife, she was more athletic in those areas. But no, Max, he's enjoying it, making a lot of plays and learning from mistakes, and they're just trying to get better every day right now.
Coach, right when we talked to you the first time, it was right when the pandemic hit and everybody had suspended activities and you had the boys back home and in the backyard and working out. Stick with that train of thought that you just answered that last question. As a parent, what's it like sending your kid back to a college campus and into a football program where it looks like football is going to happen in the fall? Yeah,
there's a lot of questions. And, you know, obviously football's shut down from a lot of different areas. Obviously, the Pac-12 and Big Ten, they shut down, but the SEC, ACC, and Big 12 are moving on. And LSU, the trainers, and they've done 2 Zoom meetings with the parents explaining how the test procedures will be taking place in the course of the season. They'll test them 3 times a week. They're trying to take the best care of them that they can. Obviously, I have another son in high school, and as parents, we've agreed to let our kids play. And with the testing, that we feel good about that, and kids can get it from anywhere. And but you want to know they're in the best care with the trainers, and you know that people are looking after them, and you hopefully people make the prudent and right decisions along the way. And we feel very comfortable with it in our situation right now.
We talked to Jamar Chase's dad, and we have Stingley's dad on every week here, and both of those guys said that they kind of followed the school's message, that LSU has been out saying, look, we believe that from LSU standpoint, that the athletes are safer in this environment at the football operations facility. Do you feel that same way about Max?
There's no doubt about it. I mean, from wearing masks to being tested 3 times a week, that's pretty good. I can't imagine the college students or anyone else in the country doing that either. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I kind of feel with some of the decisions, maybe, I'm speaking out of turn here, but, you know, with the other schools shutting down on a Power 5 level, I felt like some of those decisions were maybe a little premature.
Yeah,
but we agree with it as a parent, letting our kids play, because, you know, kids can get it from anywhere. We can get it going to the grocery stores or whatever it may be, but the testing is taking place. We feel comfortable with that. And so it is what it is at this point, and hopefully everyone washes their hands, they take care of themselves, and then when people do have to be quarantined, and it will happen. It's going to happen to some major players this year, whether it's, you know, whatever it is, whether it's a coach or whether it's a player, it's going to happen, and the teams are able to adjust, people to be used to change and being uncomfortable with whether they're wearing masks, whether they're being tested, or being quarantined. Those are the things and issues people are going to have to deal with in life, not alone in sports.
Former NFL quarterback, father of Max and Jake Johnson, Brad Johnson joining us here, ESPN, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Coach, right after we had you on the first time, we got a chance to talk to Russ Callaway for the first time on the air. We spent about 16 minutes with him during an interview, and it was very impressive. I know the first time we had you on, you were able to talk just a little bit about the relationship that you had with Callaway, but it seems like he has a major influence on this LSU offense. Can you just talk about the young, bright mind that Max is working alongside in Russ Callaway?
Yeah, you know, after the season, they won the national championship, and then there were a lot of changes that were taking place. A new defensive coordinator, George Munoz, the QB coach, he went to Baylor, and then brought in Russ Callaway. I did have a relationship with him, but for as many years as I've played and been around, I have a lot of relationships, and so it just worked out. I know Russ; he's offense coordinator at Sanford, bright mind. His dad was been a college coach for decades, and so the influence you want on your son as a quarterback, it's you need knowledge, you need consistency as a coach, giving it to a player, and just the growth. I mean, the day you plant the seeds, not the day you eat the fruit. So you want that coach to have an investment in your son, and he's very knowledgeable, very passionate, and we're excited about Max being there with all the other quarterbacks. I know they're growing. I know they've added different concepts of plays, and so we're excited for Russ to be coaching Max and all the quarterbacks.
First thing that hit me about Max, Coach, was his competitive spirit, because Coach TJ Finley's got a hell of a reputation in this state. I mean, watching him grow up in high school, I mean, his arm strength, his ability to throw the ball down the field, his athleticism, his size. I mean, people have been waiting for him to get to LSU for a long time. And to see Max commit after TJ had already been committed to the class, the first thing I thought was, this kid must not be scared to compete. An out-of-state kid, coming to a big-time college program with an in-state recruit in the same class, I think it says a lot about his competitive spirit.
Yeah, I mean, if you're at a Power 5 level, you're probably a pretty talented quarterback.
Right.
Everybody can throw and move and do whatever you got to do. It was interesting in our process of picking schools. We did not even look at rosters. That was not a part of the process. And when it's time for Max to play, he'll be ready. And you just want that growth and just continue to get better and better every day. And then competition is a part of it. When I was at Florida State, at one time we had Charlie Ward, who won a Heisman. We had won a national championship. Chris Winkie won a Heisman national championship. Casey Weldon was the runner-up to the Heisman, and he was finished. I think we were number one in the country at one time. We had a guy that was a first-round baseball player, Kenny Felder, myself. I mean, it was a loaded room, and we all thought each other stunk.
Right.
I mean, when you compete, when you get your reps, you make them count, and that's the way it is. And we just, you have to fend for yourself. You either sink or swim, and that's Max. He loves to compete, and it kind of shows on the field. And he's kind of a quiet kid just in general, but it kind of comes out, and you see the fierce competitive come out. But that's the way all those kids are at that level. You gotta go get it.
Insminger's kind of a man's man. He's kind of a dude's dude. What's your relationship like with the play caller at LSU?
When we dropped off Max at the dorm, I don't really talk to the coaches. I don't ask,
sure,
how's my son doing every day. I don't do that. But we felt very comfortable in the development of the relationship through the recruiting process. That, listen, Insminger, he's a great guy. We feel like he'd take the best care of Max and teaching him and all the quarterbacks when I say that. And we knew that, you see with the success that they've had, especially last year, that, the path that you choose, we feel very comfortable with dropping Max off at the dorm, and then he's on his own. And then, but Steve, he's a great competitor. It shows to coach that many years and playing and coaching that many systems and to produce like he's done over the years, and especially last year, that's what you want your son to be a part of. So we're excited about the relationship that they'll grow in over time, and especially just being a part of this year's team.
Last one, Coach. I know you're pressed for time this morning. Jake, your youngest son, a big-time tight end in the country. Talk to me about his development and just a high school football player. I mean, much like we asked you around a college football player getting prepared to play in these uncertain times, a high school player of his caliber going into such an uncertain time for such a young athlete.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Jake, right now, he's quarantined.
Wow.
He did not test positive, but a kid in his class did test positive. And Jake has no symptoms, so right now he's quarantined for 14 days and 5 days of acclimation. So we're back down in the basement working out. I'm throwing passes to him. In the evening, we go to the field and throw. I put him in his uniform, so it's just me and him. But we're at a high school. We don't recruit. We don't have transfers come in. We're just at a normal high school. And he might catch 10 balls this year. He might catch 80. I don't know. But the development is just to get better and better every day in the weight room, learn football. He's a natural pass catcher, and he's going to be a rising junior. So we're excited about his future, and hopefully we'll have a good season this year.
Coach, it's always good to catch up with you. We appreciate your time this morning.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. I actually come down this weekend, so look forward to getting down there.
Beautiful. Yes, sir. There he is, Brad Johnson, checking in from Athens, Georgia this morning. He's a local high school coach. Over there, he's a quarterbacks coach for Oconee County is the high school that he's at. And he was talking about his younger son, Jake Johnson, who is one of the top tight ends in the country. If you hadn't seen his highlight package, it is it's pretty fierce as a youngster. As Coach said there, he's going to be a rising junior, and you can bet that LSU has already started the communication with young Jake Johnson there. Appreciate Brad stopping by.